What is this program about? Now, the Career Trail seeks to bring on board entrepreneurs who are doing well in the Ghanaian industry, talking about education, entertainment, health, and what have you. So today, as usual, I have an amazing guest here with me, and for the first time, we are getting to interview a lecturer. Yes, he is a lecturer. But without wasting my time, if you are ready, I was definitely born ready to do this. Let's take a look at the profile video of our guest.
This week on Career Trail, who is our guest? He's a professor of political science and the founding director of the Center for European Studies of the University of Ghana with 20 years of teaching and research experience. He holds a PhD in political science from the University of Ghana and Tufts University in Boston, Massachusetts, USA. He is a visiting scholar at the Department of Government and International Relations at the University of South Florida in the USA. He is also a visiting professor at the Institute of Advanced Studies at the University of Bristol, United Kingdom. He plays a crucial role of a catalyst in shaping labor union activism and fighting forcefully for better conditions of service for university teachers and labor in Ghana. He is the CEO of Gyampo Consult. Our guest for this week's edition of Career Trail is Professor Ransford Edward Van Gyampo.
Welcome back. You have it right there. I have here with me Professor Ransford Gyampo. How are you doing?
As you can see, I'm very fine.
You look so young to have this professor title, because if I see you, I'm thinking maybe you're around your
I'm
late.
I'm old, but I'm just handsome.
So we know you as a political analyst when it comes to politics and all that, and for those students here at Legon, would definitely say you are a professor for political science. Aside that, can you tell us a little about yourself?
As you said, my name is Ransford Gyampo. I schooled here at the University of Ghana, and I rose to the ranks to become a professor of political science. I believe the rest about me, everybody knows.
All right, so let's take you back to growing up, childhood. How was the upbringing like?
Okay, so my father, the late Mr. Samson Bismarck Gyampo, he's up there.
Okay.
Was with he was a trade unionist with the TUC, but he was also, I think, one of the top functionaries of the government of FWK Akufu, the head of state FWK Akufu. FWK Akufu was overthrown by Jerry Rawlings during the AFRC period in 1979. And so my father had to flee. He told me that before he died, he told me that he told his friend, the head of state, FWK Akufu, that let us flee the country because Rawlings was on a killing spree. They were killing people. And you know, students were demonstrating, calling on more blood, for more blood to flow. So he said, let us flee the country. Akufu said he's not done anything wrong, so he would not flee. So my father left, went to settle in the UK, and he said 1 week after he's left, FWK Akufu was arrested and shot. So he would have also been killed if he had not left. So he left us like that, and I remember it was a difficult situation. I used to attend a local school in Medina. Then I think it is still they're called Christ the Savior International School, and my mother, if she's going to work, would leave us in a custody of one of the teachers. So she would leave for work very early, go and leave us in the custody of one of the teachers around Medina Race Hotel, around that area. So then she would take us to school, and then after school she would bring me to live with her children till my mother will come from work and then pick me to the house. Now, I very much remember that one afternoon after school, we were outside playing, and then we saw that a car, in fact, where the teacher lived and where we lived, okay, was so close. So we saw a big car had driven past where we were playing to where our house was. And all that I saw was they were packing all my father's stuff, including every stuff, belongings. They're packing all of them into that big truck. And so the truck left, and I was a child, and there was no mobile phone to call your mother to say somebody had entered the house. They packed everything, and then they left. So I saw everything belonging to both my father, my mother, and everybody being packed away. And so in the evening, my mother came, and when we went to the house, they had used wooden padlocks and some wood to barricade the entrance that we could not open. Now, later on, I was told that when my father left, okay, we were supposed to be paying for the rent. Okay. And because my father was not there, the rent was not paid. And so it was the owner of the house who asked one of my father's sisters to come and carry my father's belongings. And then afterwards, what he did to prevent us from getting into the house was to barricade the house so that we couldn't. So my mother, I remember, came from work very late, but we couldn't enter the house. So she took me and my junior brother, only two boys, to her friend, one of her friends, and went to spend the night there. And in the morning, she just sent us to a lorry station, and then they transported me and my junior brother to our grandmother in our hometown, Salt Pond. So I'm from both Latte and from Salt Pond, but because my father was not there, we were always going to the Fante side. So my mother transported us. I don't know how that happened, how we're not kidnapped, but we're just put in a car and then we're sent to our grandmother in our hometown. So that was when, so my mother decided to be here alone to struggle till she finds her feet. So they sent us to our hometown, and then when we went to our hometown, that was when I started schooling there. I had started here, but so I continued there. So I went to class 1 there. I was in the nursery, but I went to class 1 there, Roman Catholic school, Salpon Roman Catholic school. So I went to class 1 there. And then I remember in class 1 there, one day, our teacher didn't come to school. And children, when there is no teacher in the classroom, they would talk. They would make noise. So was it Master Sam or some? I've forgotten the name. He came to the class and to engage us. And then he said he would teach us some music, some song. I remember, thank you for the world so sweet. Thank you for the food we eat. And I mean that. So he taught us, and then afterwards he said, who can sing? And then I raised my hand. He said, if you're able to sing, I'll move you from class 1 to class 3.
Wow.
Then I said, I was a headmaster there. So I raised my hand and then I sang it. And he said they should clap for me. They clapped for me. Then he sent me to class 3, and then he said I should sing before that. So I sang. Then afterwards, he said they should give me a table and chair there. So that was my journey from class 1
to class
3. So I was with them. I was the tiniest among them. My mates were always not happy with me because they didn't understand why they struggled to get there. And me, I could just sing
and then
to be moved from class 1 to class 3. So in class 3, they conducted exams, and I think I was fourth. First and then second, they were brackets, and so then I took the fourth position. So around that time, my mother had been able to move to go and live in my father's house. My father had built a house, but it was in a bush somewhere around Medina, Babayara. Today the place is very developed. My father said he built it. He never built that house to go and live there. He said his friend had put up a house. He said, by you don't even have anything. You've been able to put up a house, so I'm going to put up my house. He built that house in the bush and just left it there. But my mother had to go and live there with the snakes and with all the reptiles in that bush. So when I got to class, I was going to be promoted from class 3 to class 4. Then my mother said, well, I can come back to Medina to live with her. So I was brought to Medina, and then I had to go to school. So they sent me from to a school called Calvary International School. It's just behind present day UPSA. So when they sent me to Calvary, they sent me to, my mother said I was going to class 4 in my hometown, and so they should send me to class 4. I remember the proprietor of the school then, J.N. Darkon, asking my mother, do you think that your son can cope? My mother said, yes, he's a brilliant student, so he can. So they sent me to class 4, and the first exam that they conducted, we were 63. I was number 50. And my mother got so disappointed. So she instructed that I be demoted from class 4 to class 3. So they moved me back to class 3. And then to class 3, I was always among the first 1 to 15, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 10, 11. So class 3, then I got promoted again to class 4. And I found my foot. So I was always among the first to 10th. First to 10th. And I moved to class 5, and then I moved to class 6. Now, from class 6, I was supposed to be going to GHS 1. But my results from class 6 to GHS 1 was very, very good. So, around that time in class 6, there is this teacher of mine who was teaching us at Calvary International School. He's called Mr. Sam Gilbert. He's still alive. Then he said, your results are very good. And you know, we still have private secondary schools.
Yes.
So he moved me from class 6 straight to secondary school Form 1 without going to the GHS. Yes, so secondary school Form 1. So I'm a member, I belong to the old system, you know, we were the last batch of the old system. And this, anytime I tell my students that they said I'm lying, they don't believe how one can be moved from class 6 through to secondary school Form 1. But I was moved to class 6 to a private secondary school called Usu Salem Secondary School. Is that Usu? It's there. So I went to Usu Salem Secondary School Form 1, and I was the tiniest. Growing up, we used to have these people, these students who looked smallish, but they were grown. Okay, for me, I look smallish. I was the tiniest, and I was very young. So my psyche, I didn't think was so matured to be with those people I went to meet in Form 1. They were always beating me. They were always bullying me and everything. And I was a child. So I didn't know, I could not grasp any of the things that I was taught. But after doing, and this is 1988 when I went to Usu Salem Secondary School Form 1. Then 89, I was moved from Usu Salem Secondary School to the best school in West Africa. It's called the West Africa Secondary School. I moved to Adenta, the whole of West Africa, the best secondary school. I was moved to West Africa Secondary School. Then I continued from that 1989. I continued from there, from 89 to, and got to Form 5 in 1994. And in Form 5, I was supposed to write the GCE O level. So I wrote the GCE O level there. Something significant, an unfortunate thing, but I find it still significant, happened. I was not very good at mathematics, and around that time, it was our time that they introduced what we call now scientific calculator. I wasn't good at maths. They said we needed a scientific calculator. My mother bought me a scientific calculator. The very day of the exam, the very day that we're going to write the maths, somebody stole the calculator. So up till now, anytime I meet, we are on our old student platform, we are on the WhatsApp platform. Once a while I ask them, so who stole my calculator? And then they'll be laughing at me. I'm sure the one who stole the calculator is part of the platform. But anytime I ask them, they will all be laughing at me that I wasn't good in mathematics, but someone also stole my calculator the very day we were writing mathematics.
So how did you manage?
I failed. I failed in the O-level maths. I got grade 8. You needed to get 6 or something, but I got grade 8. I failed. And so I had to rewrite mathematics again. But around the time that I wrote it again, I was so mature I could grasp everything. So I passed. I think I got grade 1 or 2 or something. I've forgotten. But yes, certainly not 3, either 1 or 2. So I got it. And this is what happened after O levels.
Okay, so before we go to after O level, let's talk about the course you studied when you went.
I was a general arts student. So after O levels, I had to go to 6th form. And I remember when I was in school, my headmaster, the late Ebenezer Owusu Ansa, we used to call him Osimpo. Osimpo, very short man like myself, very strict disciplinarian. He liked me because I was a bell keeper in school. Then he said, 6th form, there's 6th form in WAS, so continue schooling here. I said, no, I'm not coming to 6th form again. I'm not coming to WAS again. Then, you see, throughout my life, my father, like I said, went to live in London, and when he went there, he stayed there. He was not coming back. I got linked up to my father when he was almost about to die, but I cherish the fact that he did the effort to reunite with me. But I'm saying this to make the point that I had no one. My mother didn't know anything about the kinds of things that I was studying, and every decision that have been taken in my life, whether good or bad, they were taken solely by myself. So at when I was about to go to 6th form, I said I wasn't going to go to WAS again, but I wanted to go to St. Augustine. So look at the combination that the schools that I chose. I chose St. Augustine's College first, Vansipim second, Adisadel third.
All A schools.
I had nobody to tell me that is not how to choose the schools. So when Adisadel didn't take me, Vansipim was not going to take you, second choice. The other schools, they were not going. So I didn't get any of the schools. So you know what happened?
What happened?
I had to sit in the house to register as an A-level student under Presec.
Wow.
Okay. And I sat in the house to write my GCE A-level. I studied on my own, but I got Presec to register me. And I studied all the courses that I wanted to study, the subject I wanted to study on my own. And 6th form is supposed to be 2 years. But because I couldn't get the schools of my choice, it made me feel very serious. I became very serious with my own studies because I didn't want a situation where my colleagues will vacate and then they will come and be teasing me, and I'm home. And so I said, well, I can make up for the teasing that they may be teasing me by studying hard, making sure that I study and outstudy them. So they did sixth form in 2 years, but I studied for 1 year, and after 1 year I felt I was ready to write the GCE A level. So I went to write, and straight away I got distinction. I passed to come to the university. So I came to the university ahead of my colleagues. So I came here, the same attitude towards learning. I brought it here. I was always with my books, always learning. After all, I was the youngest. I was always the small boy, and so I wasn't making friends. I only concentrate. My books were my friends, and what made me happy and excited was me being able to read and understanding whatever is hidden in the books. That was what made me, happy. So I studied hard.
So, Legon, what course did you study?
I came to do political science here.
Okay.
Yes, and I was always, like I said, studying. So when the university was celebrating its 50th anniversary, they were looking for 2 students. My first year, if you're a sixth former, you come to level 200 straight away. So I came to level 200 straight away. First year, I had 4.0. And
first year?
Yes, level 200 first year. I had A's throughout. There is an image, a picture there of Rollins coming to congratulate me because I was a judge when the university was celebrating its 50th anniversary. We were looking for only 2 students to award: best student in sciences, best student in humanities. I was a judge, the best student in humanities, and Rollins was the one who came to give me that award. So I continued like that. I was a judge, the best graduating student in political science.
Wow!
After finishing political science with first class, I straight away had to look for something to do. My principle of philosophy was that I was too young to want to find a job to do, but at the same time, it was only my mother who was taking care of me. My father was not minding us, so I very much remember that immediately after graduating, I did my national service here. And I've forgotten this. We did our national service twice. Okay, after sixth form, when I completed my sixth form, I went to do my national service. Okay, so after sitting in the house to write the A levels, you have to go and do your national service. So I went to Ekumpuano Catholic Primary to go and do my national service there. A village in the central region, very, very it's a village located on the seashore. I keep telling this story to my students, and sometimes when I'm telling the stories, they say I'm seeing or something. Ekumpuano Catholic Primary, I went to teach there. 45 minutes, I was just speaking English, talking, and then they were just quiet. Then I asked, "Do you understand?" Then they were just looking at my face. "Do you understand?" They were looking at my face. I turned my back. I was cleaning, wiping the board. I turned to look at them again, and they were all upstanding. So I asked my class prefect, Francis Kankroma, why are you upstanding? Then they said, "Sir, you're doing the LA, sure. Sir, we thought you said we should be upstanding," because they heard the word understand. They heard the word stand in understand. So I very much remember. So we did service there. Then from there we came to university. We graduated. After graduating with first class, I was asked to do my national service as a teaching assistant here. So whilst doing my national service, I explored the opportunity to go do masters abroad. But how was I going to do the masters abroad? in applying for recommendations, you had to pay money. I didn't have money to even apply for recommendations. And when I got some recommendations and got schools abroad, I remember there was a school in Canada that said they had offered me admission, and even though I wasn't given scholarship, they would let me be doing some teachings here and there that will give me money to be able to pay my fees. I said, okay, but they had itemized, listed some laboratory tests that I had to undergo. And I didn't have money to go and do all those lab tests. And my mother didn't have, and I didn't know anyone to go and ask for money. And so I couldn't go to the school. So I made up my mind that I had to then do the masters, here.
Next week on the Career Trail.
Has there been a moment where you gave your students areas to study in the exam, yet all these areas were not featured?
I don't give areas. Okay. Why should I give areas to students? I spent 13 weeks of teaching you, and then during exam, you said I should give you areas. If you give areas, then it means you are telling them that some of the things that you taught are not necessary.
The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.
My father, my story.
My name is Marianne Boating, and I'm the marketing director for Textiles Ghana Limited. My dad is Kenneth Johnfia. I affectionately call him Daddy or Dad. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a daddy's girl through and through. So he's impacted my life. It's basically a lot of my life skills were developed from him. So some of his ethics he's passed on to me as well. So one of the things that has impacted me so much is his work ethics. So whatever he set his mind to do, he does it to the very best of his ability. So he's very passionate about anything that you put in front of him. So his work life has been a lot of dedication, and that's what has brought me where I am today. That quality that he has is what has guided me in my career now. He's a naturally fun-loving person. He's easily excited about every situation.